If you're a man over 60, you've probably heard it 100 times, maybe even said it yourself. That part of my life is over. Morning desire? Those days are gone. I want you to pause right there, because that belief is not only wrong, it's stealing something from you. It's a half-truth, wrapped in years of misinformation and quiet resignation. And the moment you accept it, you begin to close the door on a part of yourself that was never meant to disappear. Here's the truth. That spark you remember, the feeling of waking up with warmth, energy, and a certain readiness, is not a privilege of youth. It's a natural biological signal from your body that your blood is flowing freely, your hormones are in sync, and your nerves are firing with clarity. And here's the best part: those signals don't vanish because of age. They fade because the systems that create them have been underfed, underused, and ignored. Which means they can be restored. Think of it like the sunrise. No matter how long the night lasts, the sun hasn't gone anywhere. It's simply waiting for the right moment to rise over the horizon. Your body works the same way. That spark of desire isn't gone. It's been quietly waiting for the right conditions, the right light, to shine again. And what if I told you that with just a few small, natural shifts, those conditions could begin to return in less than a week? You'd wake up one morning and realize it's back. Not forced, not artificial, but yours. That's exactly what we're going to uncover, starting right now. Most men my age and yours have been told the same story for decades. Your drive fades because you're getting older, it's just nature. That's the kind of statement that sounds reasonable until you start looking at the men who break the rule. The 75-year-old who still wakes up energized. The 80-year-old who still flirts with his wife in the kitchen. They aren't medical miracles, they're living proof that desire doesn't have an expiration date. The difference? It's not their birth year. It's the condition of their circulation, their hormone balance, and their nerve health. Here's what science actually tells us. As we pass 60, three things tend to happen. The inner lining of our blood vessels, called the endothelium, produces less nitric oxide, the molecule that tells blood vessels to open. Our testosterone production slows, especially when we're under stress or missing key nutrients. Our nerve sensitivity drops, making it harder for the body to hear the signals that create desire. None of these changes are set in stone. Every one of them can be improved, often quickly, with the right daily habits. In fact, studies have shown that men in their 70s restored healthy morning desire simply by improving one nutrient pathway tied to nitric oxide production. No pills. No surgery. Just giving the body what it had been missing. So, if your mornings have been quiet lately, I want you to understand it's not because the clock has run out. It's because your body hasn't been given the signal to turn the lights back on. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how one man who thought his mornings were over for good lit that signal again. My name is Dr. Catherine Rocker. For over 3 decades, I've had the privilege of walking side by side with thousands of men across America, men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, helping them rebuild their strength, their confidence, and yes, their intimacy. I'm not here to sell you a pill, a powder, or some magic quick fix. In fact, most of my work has been about getting men off of things that only mask the problem, and onto strategies that actually repair the systems inside their bodies. I'm a believer in simple, natural solutions backed by science, the kind of changes you can actually stick with. Things that work in the real world, for real men who have lived full lives and aren't interested in gimmicks. Over the years, I've seen something remarkable. When a man understands what's truly happening in his body and he's given the right tools, his energy comes back. His posture changes. His eyes look different. And often, the most surprising change of all, that quiet spark in the morning returns. That's why I'm here with you today. Because by the end of this conversation, you're going to have a clear, step-by-step plan you can start tomorrow morning. A plan to help you wake up with desire again naturally, without medication, and without guesswork. And I want to start by telling you about a man named Martin. Martin was 68 when he first walked into my office. A retired Navy engineer from Virginia, he carried himself like a man who'd been through storms. Steady hands, a firm handshake, and a quiet sense of discipline. But that day, something in his posture told a different story. He sat down across from me and, after a long pause, said, "Doc, I don't feel like myself anymore. I get out of bed in the morning and there's nothing. No energy. No spark. My wife doesn't say it out loud, but I know she feels it too." It wasn't bitterness in his voice. It was resignation. The same resignation I've heard from hundreds of good men who've been led to believe that when morning desire fades, it's just gone for good. I told Martin what I'm telling you now, that spark isn't gone, it's just waiting for the right conditions to return. And those conditions can often be rebuilt faster than most people think. We started with something simple. No medication. No complicated routines. Just one small morning change designed to open his circulation, stabilize his hormones, and give his body the raw materials it needed to send the right signals again. Within a week, he noticed his mornings felt lighter. By the end of the second week, he told me there was a warmth and fullness he hadn't felt in years. His energy was different, not just in the bedroom, but in the way he moved through the day. When he came back for his follow-up, his wife joined him. She smiled, patted his shoulder, and said, "You gave me my husband back." That transformation didn't happen by accident, it happened because we understood the science behind his circulation and hormones. And now, I want to show you the common mistakes that had been holding him back in the first place. When most men think about their mornings, they imagine coffee, maybe a quick bite, and heading into the day. What they don't realize is that those first 60 minutes after waking can either light the spark for desire, or quietly smother it. Let's talk about 3 of the most common habits I see, the ones that silently tell your body, we're not starting today at full power. Mistake number 1. Skipping breakfast, or only having coffee. Your body has been fasting all night. In those first moments after waking, your hormones, especially testosterone, are primed for production. But without fuel, your system runs on fumes. Coffee alone might wake your brain, but it can leave your body's chemistry running on empty, cutting short the signals that drive desire. Mistake number 2. Reaching for a high-sugar snack. A muffin, a sweet pastry, even healthy, sugary cereals, they spike your blood sugar, then send it crashing. That crash doesn't just drain energy, it blunts nitric oxide production. Remember, nitric oxide is what relaxes your blood vessels so circulation can flow freely to the areas that matter most. Mistake number 3. Staying sedentary after waking. If you roll out of bed and immediately sit at the kitchen table, in front of the TV, or behind the wheel, you're sending your body the message to keep blood flow low. Without a small boost in movement, your pelvic circulation stays sluggish, and your body never gets the wake-up call it needs. These 3 habits alone can keep even a healthy man from experiencing morning desire. The good news? When you replace them with the right steps, your body can respond quickly. And in the next section, I'll explain exactly what's happening inside your blood vessels and how to reopen the flow that fuels both your energy and your intimacy. To understand how to bring morning desire back, you first have to understand why it faded. And it all comes down to one thing: the health of your blood vessels. Inside every blood vessel in your body, from the ones feeding your heart to the tiniest capillaries supplying your lower body, there's a delicate inner lining called the endothelium. Think of it like the soft, smooth inner wall of a garden hose. When it's healthy, it produces a molecule called nitric oxide, the signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and open up. That opening is what allows rich, oxygen-filled blood to flow freely to your muscles, your brain, and yes, to the parts of your body responsible for intimacy. Here's the problem. After 60, if your endothelium isn't getting the nutrients and stimulation it needs, it becomes stiff. Nitric oxide levels drop. The "open up" signal gets weaker. Blood flow slows, and the signals that create desire don't get through as strongly. Now, add in years of stress, poor sleep, or less movement, and your hormone balance takes a hit too. Testosterone can dip lower, and nerve sensitivity, the ability to feel those intimate signals, starts to dull. The good news? This system is far from broken. The endothelium is alive, it responds quickly when you give it the right inputs. With the right morning fuel, you can boost nitric oxide naturally, improve vessel flexibility, and help restore both hormone function and nerve responsiveness. In the next section, I'll give you a simple, two-part formula you can start tomorrow morning, one that works like opening the gates and fueling the engine at the same time. When a man over 60 asks me how to reignite his mornings, I don't hand him a list of complicated supplements or a strict, joyless diet. I give him two simple anchors, habits he can start before the day pulls him in 100 directions. These anchors work together, hitting two of the most important systems behind desire: circulation and hormone balance. Anchor 1. A polyphenol-rich fruit pomegranate juice. Within 30 minutes of waking, drink 6 ounces of pure, unsweetened pomegranate juice. This fruit is loaded with polyphenols, powerful plant compounds that help your endothelium produce more nitric oxide. Think of nitric oxide as the green light that tells your blood vessels to open up and send fresh blood where it's needed. Men in clinical studies who added pomegranate juice to their routine saw measurable improvements in circulation, including to the lower body, in just 2 weeks. It's simple, refreshing, and it works fast. Anchor 2. A mineral-dense food: half an avocado with olive oil. Cut an avocado in half, drizzle it with a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, and eat it alongside your juice. Avocados are rich in potassium and magnesium minerals that support healthy blood pressure, nerve function, and hormone stability. They're also packed with healthy fats your body needs to produce testosterone. Olive oil adds anti-inflammatory compounds that further support vessel flexibility, so the improved blood flow from the juice is sustained, not just a quick burst. Why these two together? The pomegranate opens the gates. The avocado and olive oil fuel the engine and keep it running smoothly. That means better blood flow, steadier hormones, and a body that's ready to respond naturally. I tell my patients, picture it like priming and powering up a machine. First, you flip the switch to open the pathways. Then, you pour in the fuel that keeps them working all day. Do this combo daily for a week, and you'll begin to notice a shift not just in the morning, but in your energy and confidence throughout the day. Next, I'll give you a simple way to check your progress, right from the comfort of your bed, before your feet even hit the floor. Tomorrow morning, before you even swing your legs out of bed, take 10 seconds for a quick check-in. This isn't about charts, gadgets, or lab tests, it's about listening to your own body. Here's what to notice. Do you feel a gentle warmth in your lower body? A sense of fullness or energy that wasn't there before? Maybe even a light, natural firmness? These are all early signs that your circulation is waking up and your hormone signals are firing more strongly. The reason this self-test works is simple. Your mornings are a reflection of what happened inside your body overnight. If you've been giving your endothelium the nutrients it needs, boosting nitric oxide, and fueling hormone production, the proof often shows up before you even open your eyes. Don't overthink it. You're not looking for perfection, you're looking for progress. Maybe on day 1, you notice nothing. But after a few days on the pomegranate and avocado routine, you start feeling subtle changes. By the end of the first week, those changes may be unmistakable. I always encourage my patients to keep a simple note on their phone or a small notebook by the bed. Just jot down, yes, no, or some, each morning. Over time, you'll see the pattern, and that pattern is powerful motivation to keep going. In the next section, I'll walk you through exactly what to expect as you move from week 1 to week 4 so you know what's normal and what's coming next. When you start making changes to your circulation and hormone support, you don't have to wait months to see results. Most men who commit to these morning anchors begin noticing shifts in a matter of days, and those shifts tend to follow a predictable pattern. By day 7, the first thing you might notice isn't necessarily in the bedroom, it's in how you feel getting out of bed. Your sleep may be deeper, you wake up feeling lighter, and your mood is a little brighter. That subtle morning warmth we talked about in the self-test might make its first appearance. Even your energy through the morning feels steadier. By day 14, this is when most men report a clear difference. That morning warmth becomes more consistent. Your lower body feels more responsive. You have more physical confidence, not just in intimacy, but in everyday movement. Climbing stairs feels easier. Your handshake feels firmer. You may even catch yourself standing taller without thinking about it. By day 30, the change often moves from physical to emotional. Morning desire begins to feel natural again, not forced, not dependent on anything artificial. You may notice a deeper connection with your partner because you're showing up with more presence and energy. For many men, this stage is when their partner says, "You seem different," in a good way. It's important to remember these timelines aren't magic. They're the natural result of supporting your body's biology, day after day, until your circulation, hormones, and nerves all get the message. It's time to wake up again. And here's something powerful: these changes don't just stay with you. They can ripple out into your relationship, your confidence, and even your sense of purpose. In the next section, we'll talk about why involving your partner and even your community can multiply these results. One of the most powerful and most overlooked ways to bring back desire is to stop treating it as a solo mission. When you invite your partner into the process, you turn a private health goal into a shared experience. And that changes everything. I've seen men pour a small glass of pomegranate juice for themselves in the morning, and pour one for their wife or partner too. They sit together, maybe share half an avocado with a little olive oil, and talk before the day begins. It's no longer his routine, it's their ritual. That small act does more than improve blood flow. It strengthens connection. It says, "We're in this together," and that emotional connection feeds directly into the physical one. There's also something motivating about knowing you're part of a bigger movement. Across the country, men your age are making these same changes not because they're chasing youth, but because they refuse to accept the idea that passion has an expiration date. When you share your progress with a friend, a brother, or even in an online group of men on the same path, you create accountability. You get to celebrate wins, share tips, and be reminded that you're not alone in this journey. And when your partner notices your increased energy in the mornings and throughout the day, it opens the door for deeper intimacy, often in ways that surprise you both. In the next section, I want to talk about that deeper meaning, why waking up with desire at 60, 70, or even 80 is about far more than intimacy. It's about reclaiming something much bigger. At this stage in life, desire isn't just about physical intimacy, it's about what it represents. When you wake up with that spark again, it tells you something important. Your body is still capable, your vitality is still alive, and your connection to life hasn't dimmed. It's proof that you're not simply coasting through your later years, you're still fully here. For many men I work with, that first morning when desire returns is about more than just the body. It's about self-respect. It's the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've taken control of your health, that you've pushed back against the narrative that says aging is only decline. Think of desire like a fire in the hearth. Age doesn't put it out, it simply lets the embers settle. All it takes is the right fuel and a little oxygen, and it glows again. And when it does, it warms not just your mornings, but every part of your life, your confidence, your relationships, your energy, even your purpose. I've seen men carry that new energy into conversations with their spouse, into walks in the park, into hobbies they'd set aside years ago. It's not about pretending you're 25 again. It's about fully inhabiting the man you are now, with strength, with connection, and with a renewed sense of self. And that's why everything we've talked about today matters. Because it's not just about one moment in the morning, it's about changing the way you experience every moment that follows. In the final section, I'll leave you with a simple invitation, one that can help you keep this spark alive and pass it on to someone who might need it more than you realize. If what we've talked about today resonated with you, if it sparked even a small sense of hope, don't let it stop here. Share this message with someone you care about. Maybe it's a friend who's been quieter lately, a brother who's mentioned his energy isn't what it used to be, or a neighbor who might need to hear that it's not over. You never know how much difference a simple conversation can make in someone's life. And I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell me what stood out, or what you're going to try first. I read every one, and often your words are exactly what another man needs to hear to take his first step. Remember, this isn't about chasing youth. It's about choosing vitality, every single day, with the tools you now have. The spark you thought was gone? It's still there. And every morning, you have the chance to feed it. So, tomorrow when you wake up, take those first moments for yourself. Give your body the signal to open up, fuel it with the right things, and watch how quickly it responds. Because desire has no expiration date, and neither does the man you are.